Mr. Pipeline podcast starts now.
Awesome. Well, welcome to our podcast. We are Mr. Pipeline Internet Marketing. I am Mara. I am the director, one of the directors here, and I've been in marketing for 8 years now, alongside Maria, Darius, and Jacob. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Yeah, sure. I've been a part of the Mr. Pipeline family for about 4 years now, but I've actually been in the marketing industry for closer to 6. So it's just been really cool to see the growth. A lot of cool stuff happening, a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
Definitely, yeah. And my name is Darius. Yeah, I've been the SEO project manager for almost a year now with Mr. Pipeline, and I have been in the digital marketing world for well over 5 years. And looking at innovatively, we have changed so much that we can barely see our own beginnings. And I think it's going to be very, very exciting in the next few years for, AI to revolutionize digital marketing.
And I'm Maria. I've been on Mr. Pipeline's account management team for about a year, I believe. And I've been in the industry of marketing for about 5. And it's ongoing and it's changing. And I think that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've been here at Mr. Pipeline for 6 years coming in October, which feels like yesterday, but also feels like a long time. I've learned a lot. And search has just been really, innovative since I started. When I started, I think Google looked completely different than what it does today. So we're going to talk a little bit about, how search has changed and where kind of AI is taking us.
Actually, if you guys remember, the first time you did a search, it's kind of like a very singular form of search, right? Like you can never really search for something that vague, just like what we do now. Like, am I installing the correct furniture in my house with this color? And then the overview would show you a tiny bit of information about home decorating, about home hacks. And 10, 15 years ago, when you do that kind of search, what color living room? Is it
Yeah.
red?
It was
right?
like caveman. It was like color, sofa, green, or like something like that.
Well, and I think search is evolving to the way where it's like really trying to understand what the end goal is when doing that query, right? So instead of just pulling different keywords and then figuring out, okay, this is a page sort of created that, it's more of a collaborative effort where it's gathering a bunch of information to try to give you the best possible answer, which is really interesting to see.
It is, and it actually evolved into something, a little better, but still not as vague as we have today. Like you would search what would be the best food in Florida, right? That's the go-to tourist searches for that specific niche, and you would definitely get a lot of listings saying, "Hey, my restaurant is the best restaurant here in Florida. We offer Mexican and Texan food, barbecues and such." And you would notice that from a way back before search time, you can't really find anything with that information because people actually innovated at that time to create content behind all of those companies just to say that they're good, that they're delicious. It's very exhilarating, mind blowing per se, like all these huge words that they use. And at that time, we were just figuring out how can we manipulate this into our own advantage. And then it came. Those keyword optimization came, and all of us never really knew it, but we are doing the searches ourselves. And we're just happy that we can find anything online. And right now, we can definitely target every single detail that we need anytime, anywhere, when we want it. And I think that's the best thing that revolutionized all searches.
Yeah, we used to call like a number like 411 and get like the information of, where the best restaurant is or the number, or like look in the phone book. It just evolved so much, and then Google came into place, and now you can ask it almost anything and it'll show up an answer, which is crazy to look back on.
Oh my God, Yellow Pages. I remember Yellow Pages.
Can I ask you guys a serious question too? Are you guys using just Google still to make your searches, or have you been using things like ChatGPT to find information? Because I know people are kind of like on both sides of the spectrum right now. So I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are you using? Are you still just going straight to Google, or using something like ChatGPT?
I guess it depends. It depends for me. It depends if I want like a more if I want like just a straight response to something or just like a direct link, I'll use Google. But if I want a more like a conversational or of a more like a digested answer of like something of a little paragraph of information I'd want to read, I think I do Chat GPT.
And then so
Actually,
something I wanted to mention too is that a lot of people don't realize this, but obviously a lot of people go to Google to find information, right? But ChatGPT actually pulls their information strictly from Bing's search engine. So just so you guys know, you're going to get two different answers sometimes depending on how you're searching for that information.
I'm a
So
Gemini girl, so Gemini all the way. I don't like ChatGPT. I never really liked it. So Gemini is what I use because it does pull directly from Google. And they've been doing a lot of like advances on it as well. But I do see myself searching for Google, or like if I need something like around me, I'll use like Apple Maps,
Mhm.
where I'm
Do you
searching.
really?
Yeah.
What's the difference between like that and like Google Maps?
It's different. I think I prefer Apple Maps sometimes. Sometimes, Google Maps does, have better navigation and stuff, but I like Apple Maps. I think a lot of the information is correct on there when I use it. So, but
have
it's
you ever had
very similar.
like have you ever had an issue where you were going someplace and you were using Apple Maps and it took you somewhere, very different entirely?
No, I don't think so. I did. I think my mom that happened to. She was using Apple Maps and it took her somewhere and it was not even like the right place. But I think that had to do with like the listing, the Apple listing that the company created.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
I think that's such a cool thing, right? Because there's so many options nowadays, whether you're on Google, using Gemini, using ChatGPT.
People are getting their information from different aspects. Like they're getting their information from different social medias like Facebook and TikTok. They're using, TikTok as like a search engine now. Like, hey, how do I do this? Or, three things that this happened or something like that. They're getting their news from TikTok. So people are actively searching on social media platforms for answers now, as well as large language models. So it's search everywhere. Like you have to be everywhere. It's really they're favoring brands right now. Google has kind of switched to really favorite the brand. So they're picking up, you make sure you have a Google business profile, make sure you have Facebook, make sure you have a TikTok, an Instagram, that you're
And
on
then
Yelp, you're on all the different listings.
yeah, and they somehow like create like a little network between themselves, and like Instagram will take you to the TikTok and maybe to a video and then back to the site. And it now works like they all have to be like present, so they all work with each other, and then they generate like a lead for your client.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize this, but Google and these major search engines that people are using, they actually notice how often you're remaining active on all these social media platforms. So it's so important to be constantly, posting, making sure it's obviously like relevant to your customers, engaging, because the more activity that you see across different platforms, the more likely it is that Google's going to trust your business, or these AI overviews are going to pull information from your business. So that activity is more important than ever, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think searches are becoming more conversational. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but do you remember Ask Jeeves, like way back when, like ask.com? I think that was a great for me, that I don't know why that stayed in my mind, but you had to literally ask a question to get results. And I think that's the way people are now like are speaking to AI or their search engines. They're like asking questions rather than just being like plugging in keywords. It's making search engines think a little more. And that's why I think people are heading more towards like an AI, just sort of like Gemini, ChatGPT, rather than Google at first.
And I feel like people are starting to trust this AI as if it's, the everlasting truth, right? Because why else would Google spit out this information to you if it wasn't true? Now, that might not entirely be true, but people are going to take that as truth. So something I wanted to show you guys, I don't know if I could share my screen here really quick, just to give an example in case people don't understand exactly, what we're talking about. So the biggest thing is that when somebody does an information-based search, can you guys see my screen here? So if somebody's doing an information-based search, so like, gutter installation costs in Middlebury, Indiana, and then they're throwing that into the search, obviously you're going to see some sponsored information, but what's going to happen is now AI is going to pull this information to try to give you the best possible answer. It'll try to break it down by square foot. So if you're writing your content surrounding this, for example, smart style seamless gutters, this is actually one of our clients. Now, if somebody's making that search, they're going to see him right on the AI over any other organic search result. And now they're more likely to trust him over somebody else. So that's why, the type of content that you're creating is more important now than ever if you want to get ahead of this AI ball game.
And its listing is actually right up front. Way back from before, you'd see like Google Ads first, but when they started the beta AI overview, they actually put the AI overview at the very top, right below the navigation panel, like just videos, news. And right now, they wanted to keep the advertisers more lenient and more powerful. So what they did is they put that right below that, as of now. But
Yeah,
you
but
can
that's
notice,
something, yeah. Like, just like I know Jacob has used that word of like how much realty, like how much of the page, I don't remember the word you used, but how much of the page pops up as an AI is much larger and much more on top than like ads or like organic search.
And it's easily 20 to 30% of the entire first page of Google. If you're in that AI overview section, you're not just simply scrolling past that. You're going to see some of that information. You're going to see the company, and it's likely going to skew who you're going to actually work with. So if you're ranking in that section, I mean, you've already owned 20 to 30% of the first page of Google. So it's so important. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah, and Google is getting like so much smarter now. It's not about just ranking keywords anymore. It's really about understanding what people are searching for and what they actually mean when they type it in. So like user intent is becoming so important, and that's why, ranking in those AI blogs, you are answering a question and a conversation that someone is typing in on Google.
Right, exactly.
And I think it's really interesting to see the change, right? Because
go every single detail that is cannibalizing each other. All single details of all of those AI overview rankings are very, very different from each other. Like if you search something like for a product, like for example, I did a search earlier about Kawasaki front end shocks for my Z9, and it shows a lot of options for me to pick on, and every single detail or every single information that it provides doesn't necessarily crashes out the other listing below. So you might not get number one, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to get picked entirely when somebody searches. Because what if the question that you asked doesn't answer the first question that the AI overview prompted, and it answers like the third or fourth one? So you'd still be in the gray area, and you'd still have the option to be picked 80%, 70% of the time. Definitely.
it kind of reminds me of the Google Maps section, right? Because they're not just going to show one business in the map section. Typically, they're going to show around 3, right? So AI overview kind of reminds me of that as well. There's room for opportunity there. Obviously, it has to do with how specific you are targeting that specific search. So, which is why it's so important to do the research if you're investing into SEO and really understanding what your customers are actually searching for. But there is room for opportunity. So these guys that are investing in SEO that might not have, the 1,000, 2,000 Google reviews. They've been in business for 20 years. There is still opportunity here for you to actually rank and take advantage of this AI overview section, because not a lot of people know how to tackle that yet. So if, it's one of the things, if you start focusing on it now, it's going to help in the long run, at least get you that real estate that you need to, compared to these other places where you might not be able to compete as heavily.
Yeah, and traditional SEO is still the same, but it's just tweaking a little bit. So it's still really important to do that basic SEO. It's really important to do that SEO strategy that is like your H1s and your H2s, like your titles and your descriptions and all. But we can tweak it a little bit to have, Google favorite it more with the conversational content and everything. So we're writing more for an answer of a question than what we used to write for with just the keywords and everything. While keywords are still important, Google has shifted. So keeping up with the strategy is super important.
Yeah, I also feel like it's a great way to, let's say, tackle maybe some certain themes that go around your like your business, like for example, like home painting. Like when we target specific home painting, we use like home painting words, things that are specific to that company. But what if like you're renovating your home or you're buying a home? What if you write a blog about how renovation relates to like home painting, and you put that up on your site, and then that pops up when people search for like, I'm renovating a home, like what are the top things I need to do or think about when I renovate a home? And then home painting shows up. So I do think it's a great way to also like target your service, but like tangent services that go along with your main one without doing it directly. So it's a great way to like grow the people who search for you.
Yeah, I like to think about it as like dropping additional lines in the water. So every connection that you're forming, every, blog that you're writing per se, all the content that you're creating, it's like dropping these fishing lines in, and eventually you're going to start catching some fish. So that's, the biggest thing. The more lines in the water, the more opportunity you have to sort of, pull in
Are you
something.
friends with Evan? Do you go fishing with Evan? Is fishing
Yeah, I fish sometimes, not as much as Evan.
Your fishing lines will eventually turn into a net.
Exactly. Until you capture the whole ocean.
Yeah, exactly. So with SEO and AI overview blogs, Darius, could you kind of bring us up to speed on how that's changing right now, and what you're kind of doing on Mr. Pipeline side to really enhance the clients' blogs?
Oh, that's a very, very great thing to ask. Actually, in terms of blog and content management, the AI has brought a huge amount of things that we can't really fathom. Like, for example, our blogs are no longer speaking in a third party language. It doesn't speak for a company that we say that this is us. It's now turning into a more conversational manner, so that when Google crawlers crawl those content, maps it out, it'll basically answer people who are actually asking those kinds of questions. And right now, since we're really getting into AI, we can definitely ask, for example, that ChatGPT or DeepSeek, saying, "Can it be possible to do this and that?" If you have that blog that literally answers that question, it will map it out. It will give you the answer at real time. And manipulating that to the extent, I think, would be more challenging, more hardcore, and more potent in the future. Because as of now, if you notice, you search for something, like for example, how to make a grilled cheese sandwich, right? And it'll give you an option, the best way to cook a grilled cheese sandwich. It'll give you like step-by-step process on the overview. What if it's not going to be that? What if the AI overview reaches more into your blog, your listicle blog, that states several types of grilled cheese sandwiches? And Google I don't know if Google can rank every single type of grilled cheese sandwiches because there's a lot. And in the future, there will be those stuff that will fight over alongside each other. So marketing in its own for AI overview will expand drastically. And I'm getting into Ask Maps more right now and getting our GPP specialist IN3s to just ram it on FAQs, everything that's talked about on our blogs, FAQs on our blogs, and FAQs inside the Google Business profiles. I make sure that they're all working intertwined because right now you can ask the Google Maps search bar what to do on a Friday night, and it'll give you, if you're a person without an imagination, you're bored out of your mind on a Friday night, you'd ask that question to Google, and it'll show you a lot of things to do on a specific area. And that is mind blowing, to be precise. That's very, very good because right from before, you don't know anything, like where to go next. Right now, you have everything. And the only question is for you to decide for yourself, where are you going? There's a lot of options. And right now, we're all going to turn into, you know, old ladies that, can't figure out where they want to go.
And that's like a great segue. I think, like, where do you guys think AI is going to take us next with marketing?
It's a loaded question because it could go in all types of directions. They could put more caps on AI so it can't do as much, or more restrictions, or, I do think there's going to be ads implemented in Gemini, large language models like Gemini and ChatGPT. So we'll see where it goes from there. So I think Google's next step is to charge for the ads to be shown in there. That's just my opinion.
Which is why it's so important to rake there organically. I mean, if you get ahead of that curve, you're going to save all that ad spend that you're going to have to now do on another platform to generate these leads. So, there's no better time than now. It's the biggest thing to take away here.
Yeah, SEO with time is the best element for SEO. I see, like, with my clients, the clients who were already onboarded before I came onto Mr. Pipeline, have like the best stability and like ranking, because SEO takes time. It's like part of the equation. So like Jacob said, if like people jump on the SEO blog and AI section before they start charging for it, I think it's a great way to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even just like, 3 topics that maybe Darius also can help us out with this, that someone who is curious about AI blogs, like what would be an example of 3 topics? I know that Jacob showed the gutter cost, which is a great, conversational piece, because if I'm looking to get my gutters done, installed or cleaned, I'm looking, hey, how much does this cost? What maybe it would be some other topics. I know that we do a lot of research when we bring clients on for our service, but what are some topics that you see that are just broad?
And I could just jump in here too quick to add some information. I could hear you, Darius.
Oh, Darius, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay. I keep jumping out for some reason. I don't know why. But
all good. We can hear you.
For our clients, the best way that they can leverage AI blogs and AI overview is for them to talk about their niche. I know some companies would prefer to talk about their own brand, their own style, their own company. But if you look it up in a more wider stance, it can't actually help that much because nobody knows them now. What you need is more traction for people to know you.
If you're building a soda brand, a lot of people might, search what are healthier alternatives to Coke. And then if you wrote a blog all about that, it's like, okay, now you're specifically targeting that search. And I think a lot of home service business owners, they know so much about their product or like their service and what they're selling, is that they don't realize that the homeowner doesn't really understand maybe so much about what they have to offer. So it's more generic questions like, is paver sealing necessary for my driveway? Because they might see that their neighbor got it done, but they're not sure if they need it. Is it worth the investment? But it protects the pavers. It, you know, makes the home, it increases the home's value over time. You don't have to, redo the pavers ever so often. So it's about what the customer's information or what they're trying to get from working with that business is what you're trying to answer. The questions that they might not know the answer to is, I think, what you should be targeting for blogs.
Yeah, and also just like the paver question, like maybe my home, how much is a gutter going to cost me? Like my home is this big, or my home is like I have this home and then I have like a pool house, and then how much is going to charge me per square footage? Like some things like that customers might have questions are great ways to like be positioned on an SEO blog AI.
And you have to put yourself in the customer's shoes. So even when we're doing the research, it's like kind of like we have to put our perspective into the customer, right? And what they might be searching for, because we can see what people search for. I mean, if they're going to Google or these other engines, I mean, we can pull that data to see what's going to drive the most amount of traffic. But you do have to get specific, and you kind of have to understand what the customer's end goal is or what they might be looking for. Is a leaf guard necessary with new gutter installation? Things of that nature.
A company might want to put out like, oh, here's the style of gutters. Here's all of these K-style gutters, copper gutters. But, a customer searching for that may not know all of the ins and outs on different types of gutters. So they are more like, hey, how much does a gutter installation cost? Or what are these brown gutters called? You know what I mean? So like they're very like a simplify ask on Google.
And that's another great blog to kind of create is, what options are there for gutter styles, right? And then create a blog about that. Then you can go into copper, and then you can go into all these different styles of gutters that you have to offer that might be a higher ticket price for you. So it's about how you create that content. It's what you say.
And just to add it on, we definitely need to let the clients know that all of these contents are made entirely to serve the voice search. That's why this whole thing was invented in the first place. Because a lot of people are using voice search nowadays. They can't really say, hey, Google, plan, go, New York. That's not how they go. They will say, hey, Google, can you plan a flight for me going to New York, to JFK? And it'll give you a lot of airlines to book a flight from. That's why these contents are made just to serve voice search. And voice search will be the next thing that will activate pretty soon on AI. We're never going to have to type again. And that's just what I'm thinking for the future, honestly. Because right now, that's what we're doing. That's the trend right now.
I know with all of the AI all of the AI talking can seem overwhelming. So we want to make sure, we're putting our thoughts, in simple terms. For AI, as we close up this podcast, what do you think someone could do to take a step further in future proofing their business in an AI world? I know there's a lot of hype about it, talk about it. We are changing. Are we changing as rapidly as we could be? Probably not, which is a good thing because we have time still to adapt. Just wanted to hear your guys' opinion as well. I think that, what a business owner could do to start just one foot in the right direction for future proofing their business is really just getting to know what AI can do for their business, and start by just testing it out yourself, like going to Google, like Jacob showed, and seeing, where future is right now with search. You can use it for so many like aspects in your business. Just getting with someone who is experienced in AI and talking with them about it and learning about it. Because I think that's the first step. A lot of people are so resistant to it because they don't know about it or they don't know how to use it. I think the first step, I would say, to future proofing the business is getting with someone who may have experience in it and knows a little bit more than you do yourself.
Absolutely. Take your foot out the door, search for SGE. You're never going to understand it, but the people you know can. So make sure you contact them now. Optimize for SGE, search generative experience, and you'll have a conundrum of thoughts and feelings stating everything and everything on how we search things.
I would also tell the clients to really jump on the SEO blogs. SEO blogs, I think, are the way to the AI, enter the AI community.
Yeah, definitely targeting those informational based searches. Just speaking from a perspective on, onboarding new clients and like going in through all these different businesses and taking a look at what they have, I think making sure you have a proper foundation to build from, right? So you have the reviews, you have your citations online, you have a professional website that proudly represents the business that you can expand on to take advantage of all these opportunities with AI. So I think the biggest thing is building that foundation and then continuing to build from there, I think is the best advice that I could give.
And always make sure to, here at Mr. Pipeline, I feel like we have a really good structure. I'm an account manager and I'm the forward facing person to the client. And we're always there to respond to questions. When you jump on with us, we offer services, but my role is to always be there if you guys want to call, text, or meet us, or have a face-to-face, review your accounts. We're always here to help and give you a hand on everything. And I think this is what makes us different from other companies. We are here. We always want to talk to you, and we always want to hear back from you because we can do lots of the things on your account, but if we don't hear how many leads you have and if they're working for you, if you're closing or you're not closing, it's hard for us to improve or tell how you're doing. So we love to talk to you and we love to hear from you. And I'd say that this is a plus you'd get from us. You'd get to talk to us whenever you want to.
Ask the right questions. Everybody everybody might want to, seem like they know things, even when you talk about people and, their domain and where that's held as opposed to hosting. Everyone wants to act like they know everything, but just ask the questions. There's nothing wrong in asking. Nobody's going to know everything. So the only way you're going to get that information is by asking. And instead of AI, we'll answer your questions.
You have to have a footprint. You have to have a profile inside the Google listings so that people will know you. And if you divert on anything else but Google, I think you're losing 50% of revenue that you should be getting. 100%.
All right. So I think we talked a lot about a lot. I'm going to have Gemini write us a closing here. All right. That wraps up today's podcast episode. We covered everything from search everywhere optimization to really digging into how AI overviews are changing the game. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Darius, for all the super amazing insight. We dove into AI for your blogs, and remember, just stay ahead of the game right now. Thanks for tuning in. We hope, you're feeling a little more confident learning about AI. And we're here if you guys need anything. We definitely can, Jacob can talk to you about your AI blog services. And yeah, we had a great time.
Thank you guys. It was fun chatting with you.
Yes.
Yes, that was awesome. I'm so happy we were able to do it, guys. I hope you found some of this information valuable. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.